This tank uses only one plant species, guppy grass. It's fast growing, incredibly hardy, and usually treated like a background filler. But the real question is whether a plant like this can ever look intentional. You almost never see guppy grass featured in aquascapes. Not in contests, not in showcase tanks. So instead of avoiding it, I wanted to lean directly into that challenge. This isn't about speed. It's about control, restraint, and seeing if chaos can actually be shaped. Welcome to One Plant Aquascape, where I build tanks using only one plant species to see what actually works. The rules of this series stay the same every time. One plant species only, no injected CO2, and a setup that most beginners could realistically recreate. In episode 1, I tested dwarf hairgrass to see if a carpeting plant could spread under simple conditions. In episode 2, I went to the opposite extreme with the Nubius, slow growing, low maintenance, and incredibly forgiving. For episode 3, I wanted to test something that almost never gets taken seriously in aquascaping. Guppy grass is usually used as a utility plant, thrown into breeding tanks, shrimp tanks, and grow out setups. It grows fast, absorbs nutrients aggressively, and survives in almost any condition. But because of that, it's rarely chosen for display tanks. The challenge here isn't whether guppy grass will grow. It's whether it can be guided into something that actually looks deliberate. When you work with fast-growing plants, the hardscape becomes even more important. If the structure underneath isn't strong, the plant will completely take over. This setup isn't about doing more, it's about doing just enough. I'm using rock placement to create limits, direction, and visual flow. Enough height to give the plant somewhere to grow upward, and enough open space to keep the tank from feeling crowded. This part always takes longer than it looks. With guppy grass, I'm constantly thinking ahead. Where it might spread, where it might clump, and where it might block light. The goal is to build a layout that still holds together once growth accelerates. Every plant in this tank is guppy grass used in a few different ways. Some sections are anchored tightly between rocks to slow movement. Other areas are left looser, allowing the plant to sway and create texture. Guppy grass doesn't rely heavily on substrate nutrients, which makes it forgiving but also harder to control. Because it grows from almost every node, small placement decisions now will have a big impact later. That unpredictability is a big reason why guppy grass is rarely used in aquascapes. I'm layering from back to front, varying density so the layout doesn't feel flat. Too much in one area and it becomes overwhelming. Too little and it feels unfinished. Planting is where this tank really starts to take shape. For lighting, I'm keeping things moderate. Guppy grass grows fast enough without intensity. Consistency matters. I'll be running this for about 8 hours a day and adjusting only if algae becomes an issue. This is the tank at its very first fill. Right now it feels energetic, but very chaotic. There's movement, texture, and depth, but the layout feels very overwhelmed. Over the next few weeks, I'll be watching how fast this plant grows, how often it needs trimming, and whether the layout holds together. I'll also be paying close attention to debris buildup and algae. That should give a clear answer to whether guppy grass is just easy or actually usable long-term in the display tank. At this stage, the tank feels very energetic but chaotic, which is exactly what I expected from guppy grass. The challenge won't be keeping it alive. It's to see if I could keep it maintained as it grows. That uncertainty is exactly what makes this experiment worth following. If you want to see whether guppy grass can stay controlled long-term, subscribe and follow the series. This plant is often overlooked, but that's exactly why it's worth testing.